Okay, it's time for the August 1st tour of the garden. As you can see here, this is all covered up. This is where the lettuce was, or some of the lettuce. And now we have a lot more. You can see how much more lush it is since July 1st. A lot of it's bolting. I've been feeding it to the goats. They really like it. But we've been having salads almost every night, which is great. Then come the carrots, which as you can see have grown very, very well. They're coming in today. I'll freeze some. I make a carrot ginger soup that I can, and some pickles if I have enough left over. And the last of the accursed beets. I've done two sections of beets already. I freeze most of them, and I did make some pickled beets, and maybe I'll consider making him some borscht, which I know he'll love. I don't care for it, but he's all about the beets. And then we have the corn and the sunflowers, which you see have grown tall, and the sunflowers are in bloom. And they just look so pretty against the blue sky. I have a couple of pictures on Instagram where I'm broken teepee, if you want to look. They just really are pretty. Then comes the melon patch, which is also doing very, very well. I can take you in close and you can see there are just tons and tons of blossoms. So we should have a lot of melons this year. The goats are talkative today, which will be really wonderful. I do love melons. And then we have a couple of tomato plants in this row. I guess there wasn't enough room. You can see we're starting to get blossoms on them, which is nice because I do love when the tomatoes start coming in. Another tomato plant, another tomato plant. And then eggplants. I got this wrong when I brought you down here the last time. I thought they were peppers, which again goes to prove why I am not the gardener. But these are definitely... Yes, Jenny? I am definitely not the gardener. He's not so sure how well the eggplants are going to do this year because it's been so hot. But I do hope they come in because I really adore eggplant. Next row are the zucchini, which you can see are flourishing, and we've already gotten in quite a few. Zucchini always grow. And then the cucumbers, sorry about the goat chorus, the cucumbers, which there's a teeny tiny one. There it is. So I should have cucumbers soon, which will be good. I can make some tzatziki with my homemade goat's milk yogurt, which I'm really looking forward to. And of course pickles and relish. And these are the green beans, which have been started to come in and are doing very well, as they always do here. No matter what, there will always be green beans. The snow peas, which are next, are about finished for the year. As you can see, they're really starting to die off and look dead, but we got quite a few in, so there'll be plenty of snow peas for him to eat in the coming winter, which he'll love. And next, this is a spiffy garden bench. I bought him 1 year, which he really loves. It makes picking easier for him. The tomatoes. These are all heirloom, mostly something called Black from Tula. I'll find a link to the website. And you can see we have some baby tomatoes on there already. Ooh, I can't wait for the first ones to come in. They're a really great tomato for making sauce. They're thick-meated. They don't have a lot of juice, so that when it comes to cooking them down, it makes a really thick, rich sauce, which I love. They kind of look like a watermelon inside because they're red and green, even when they're ripe. And they taste really good too, so I am looking forward to them. Here are the peppers. We've had a couple come in that I've cooked for him. I think I have a recipe coming soon with peppers and carrots. I don't know, I'll have to look and see, because I just plain forget. This looks cruciferous. could be cauliflower. Yeah, cauliflower. That would be my guess here. See, I'm like I said, I am not the gardener, but they're growing slowly. Again, the cruciferous vegetables do not like the heat at all. They prefer it to be a little cold. In fact, we get most of our broccoli after there's been a frost. Sorry for my shadow. Man, the goats are noisy. Sorry about that, too. Okay. And here, he just put down fresh mulch here. He cleaned out a goat pen. This was where the garlics were. You'll remember from the July post. I'll do this side. These are the broccolis. We've had some broccoli come in. There's been one good-sized head so far, but they really have not been doing well. Again, it was so wicked hot in June, and then July, it cooled down. We actually had some mornings where we woke up and it was in the low 40s, and now it's back over 100 again. So figure this weather out. I know the plants are having a hard time with it. And this is a whole row of broccoli, because it's broccoli and cauliflower are my favorite vegetables. So I know he tries to plant a lot of that, but this will be the second year that it's been a questionable harvest. And these are onions. So, and then the cabbage, which they're starting to head up, which is nice. Oh, wow, that's a beauty, isn't it? Look at that. Ooh, that's a picture. I'm going to have to come back and take a picture of that, because I want to make sauerkraut again. Last year, the cabbage harvest was really poor, and I couldn't make any sauerkraut. But what I did do is make a couple of big batches of stuffed cabbage, which freezes beautifully. And we enjoyed that all winter long. And then these are red cabbages, which, wow, that's an oddball, isn't it? That's got several heads going, which these don't seem to be heading as nicely. But the goats are going to enjoy the leaves, I'll tell you that. So that is the state of the garden on August 1st. Much better than July 1st, huh? I'll go back and show you the other gardens shortly. Okay, this is the potato garden on August 1st, and it is doing pretty well. We've had some potatoes harvested, mostly because of some blight issues, which, from what I understand from the hubby, is an issue with potatoes and tomatoes for that matter. We've had blight issues with our tomatoes as well in past years. It's looking a little dry right now because it's hotter than a little steep on this side, hotter than the devil right now. But they'll get watered tonight, and they'll be perky in the morning. I haven't had any fingerlings yet, only the Yukon Gold, and you can see that places where the fingerlings are the ones that look a little greener. But hopefully we'll have harvest from them soon and have a nice amount to put away for the winter. I'm the potato eater. The hubby doesn't like them as much, although he said the homegrown ones were better than any he's had before, so maybe I'll convert them. Okay, the berry garden on August 1. The blueberries are just doing what they do. They haven't grown much, as you can see. Although I did see a few berries. Maybe he's picked them. I don't know. This one suddenly made a huge shoot. Oh, there's a few berries. I don't know if you can see them there. A couple of them are even getting blue. So we'll see. He might have garnish this year. That's about what we got last year. The strawberries are already starting to die off. The harvest this year was just pitiful. I don't know that we got a pint altogether. Again, he figures the heat was a factor in that. But the few we had were very sweet, but nothing like last year. I mean, we had a ton of them last year, which is a shame. Ooh. And the blackberries, which are growing well. And we do have some blossoms and a bee, which was good to see. Oops, sorry. So we'll probably end up much like we did last year with like a handful of them. They were quite tart last year. Not at all sweet, which was disappointing. So, oh, and grasshoppers. Woohoo! Where's the chickens? So we'll have to See what happens this year. Some more blossoms down that way. And the goats have been gnawing at the ones that have been poking outside of the fence, so we're going to have to put some chicken wire up. So that is basically the state of the berry garden, which is not a very good state this year. So fingers crossed for next year. You can see the strawberries invading the blackberry territory. He was talking about maybe moving it for next year and putting it in a different place. Apparently you have to move strawberries or replant strawberries after 3 years. Ouch. I don't know these things. Again, this is why I am not the gardener. So we'll see what happens. But that's the berry garden. And the horseradish, oregano, and asparagus garden is pretty much the same as it was. The horseradish is growing. The asparaguses are doing whatever it is asparagus do. And yeah, the oregano. Yeah. I've been using it. It tastes so good fresh, but it's like way more than 2 people will ever use. It does make a pretty flower though. And anybody want any oregano? But that's where this one stands. Hopefully next year we'll get actual asparagus.